Hey guys, my name is Lorraine, Wright, and in this video I'm going to be telling you about how Uber basically pays me. Yes. The whole idea is that a car driver will drive your car as an Uber driver. Uber will charge 25% per trip. Every single day, a car driver will probably get around Every single day, a car driver will probably get around 250 to 350 cities per day. On a good day, they'll get about 350 cities. It could be more, it could be less, but on a weekend or peak time, it will be about 350 Ghana cities. Let's use that as an estimation. This may change depending on the times that you watch this video. It has fluctuated, especially during seasons. Christmas seasons, of course, it's mad, it's crazy in Ghana. But if it's in February, for example, this could be much lower. So with that said, let's just use 350 per day. That is, if someone's working very hard, they will get 350 Ghana cedis per day. Out of that money, Uber takes their 25%. Then out of that money, you have to pay, the driver has to pay the fuel as well for the car. What is left is what the driver will save for themselves and also to pay the car owner at the end of the week. You would just ask for a flat fee. Most people think, and I thought about it as, why should I do that? Well, I should just take commission. But you will save yourself a lot of hassle if you just take a flat fee from the driver. And that means you know that you're always going to get a certain amount. Come rain or shine, the driver doesn't work, the driver works, they will have to pay that amount. But if you start getting commissions, it becomes very complicated. Of course, there's an upside, but the downside, I think, will be worse. So save yourself the hassle and just go for a flat fee. I think in Ghana, most people do that. Now, in Ghana, there are two types of contracts when it comes to Uber cars or cars being leased to people. They call it work and pay, and they call it daily sales or weekly sales. Work and pay basically means that the car driver is leasing the car from you and is using the car with the intention to pay you every week to pay down the cost of the car so they can then own the car at the end of it. And typically, you'll be charging the driver 2 times the cost of the car as your form of interest. So it's almost like buying a car on hire purchase, but you're getting your payment weekly. So they will own the car at the end of that. The second option is daily sales or weekly sales. And that basically means the driver's just working, they'll pay you their weekly amount at the end, and they will keep for themselves. You don't pay the driver. The driver has to work to make money for themselves and make money for you. And that's how you get paid. So then whatever happens, you're the first person. Uber gets paid first, you get paid second, and then the driver pays themselves. Okay, so that's how it works. So let's go back to the calculation. So let's say, for instance, the car driver earns 350 cedis per day. They pay their fuel, which could be 50, 100 cedis, however far they're going. Some can be just lucky and be called in one area for the entire day. Or another day, they could be called to go from one location to another location across town. So it really depends. And once they've put the fuel in, they save the money to pay you as a car owner, and then they pay themselves, right? So you would get your value at the end of the week, and they will put that into your bank account. And I ask for ours, because I do it with Viviana, we get the money paid into our bank account every single week. Every single week, I'll tell you a little bit more about that. Once that happens, so let's assume, so you can do your calculations based on 350, or be conservative, based on 350 every single week, what you would get, calculate what your break-even point would be if you were to buy a car that was worth, and then I'm going to do this in Swiss francs because we bought it in Switzerland. If the car, or rather, let me do this differently. When you're buying a car abroad and you ship it to Ghana, there is duties, there's customs, there's taxes you have to pay. Allow yourself the value of the car to be, when you do your business plan. So if you buy a car for, let's say, 3,000 Swiss francs, once you've bought it and shipped it, allow that same amount in your mind to be what will be used to clear it for duty taxes, for getting it registered, for getting the insurance, for getting the roadworthiness, for getting it on the road. So double the amount and use that as your investment, your capital required. Let's say we bought the car for 5,000 Swiss francs. We shipped it to Ghana. We're looking at about 10,000 Swiss francs here now for that car in its entirety, okay? So now that we have that, and I think we spent much less than that, by the way, I'm just giving you an example. because the cars you're going to buy, you'll probably be spending around 3,000 Swiss francs. There's no reason for you to spend more than that, especially for an Uber car. If you're buying it, you can spend more because you want it to last, and it might be a newer car. But if you're looking at a 2022 model, sorry, a 2012 model, 2013 model, you really want to look around 4,000 Swiss francs, around that, okay? But for the sake of argument, if you want something that's going to last you a long time, I think give yourself 5,000. So then double that. I'm sure it'll be much less, but for your budget, double that. Now, once you've done that, and plus my fees, of course, to get everything for you, so bear that in mind. Now, all of those costs come together and work out to what point your 350 cities every single week will match your 10,000 Swiss francs. 10 Swiss francs is basically the equivalent of US dollars, so let's use US dollars for this benchmark. 10,000 US dollars, your 400 Ghana cities per week, how long it will take you to break even. Use that as your benchmark. And then work out, always leave behind some money for repairs and service. Service your car every 6 months. Change the oil, change the plugs, have new tires, MOTs, ensure everything. You need to factor this in. So what I do is we factor in at least a month of our earnings every 6 months. So when you do your calculations, base it on maybe a 10-month projection and leave your 2 months for any emergencies, so breakdowns, insurance, changing of engine, which may actually cost a lot more than that 2 months, but you need to have some contingency plan. Conservatively, I would say use 9 to 10 months for your projections. So I'm hoping this makes sense, and I can give more information, if you pay me of course, in terms of how we did the breakdown. So essentially, once you've got the car, you sourced it, Viviana will source it on the ground for you, personally do that, make sure the MOT is all good, all the documentation is all good, make sure everything is ready, she speaks the language, negotiates the car down to the bare minimum, the right price, etc. These are second-hand cars, third-hand, fourth-hand, you'd never know. Our personal requirements, we don't want there to be more than 2 car owners, and we also don't want it to have a certain mileage. But Viviana on the ground also works with an agent who will then ship the car. The car is then shipped over to Ghana. The shipping process can take about 3 weeks. And it's shipped to Ghana. We work with clearing agents here in Ghana who will then clear the car, will do the duty, do the customs, do the taxes, get the car registered, do the MOT roadworthiness, do the Uber inspection, do the Uber checks, we do the insurance. And I have links and contacts for all of this, by the way, because we've done it so many times, and everyone always asks me, how do we do this? And that's when we did this, started to do this on people's behalf as well. And then we will get the car ready and also help you to find drivers. Now, when it comes to finding drivers, this is the difficult point. This is the point that's made me want to quit so many times. Driver's part is the hardest part of this business, and it's not for the faint-hearted. Finding drivers in Ghana is very, very difficult. And how I did it is I basically just started asking people. I would ask people at my church if they knew any drivers. I would put up ads on various websites. Again, I won't tell you the ones I use because again, this is a service that we provide. Or I would use my network, or I would use the partners that we partner with, and we'll find these drivers. And I was very important, when we first started, I used drivers of people that I knew because I can always hold that person accountable and always use that person as a reference. And that was because I'm giving you a car, I'm giving someone a car to use it and to drive. So, one thing I did as well, I put trackers in my car. There's another guy from the UK based in Ghana. Again, I can connect you guys, but again, through what we do, the service that we do, I could get you the tracker put into the car as well. Very important thing to do. So we source the drivers, and with the drivers, what I always make sure I do is I make sure I have a guarantor from the driver. So I always make sure I visit the driver's house. I will go with an elder of mine. So, especially us being female, and especially, we have other people that we work with, but I always make sure I go with an elder, just because from a custom perspective or a cultural perspective, elders are highly, highly respected in Ghana. So having an elder person go with you to the person's house, there is some form of reverence there as well. So visit the person's house, and I always pick up the location, so make sure I save it. We have a contract that we sign contract has a lot of terms and conditions in there. So again, I can have this ready set up for you guys. If you're looking to get into this, we have the templates all done, ready, tried, tested. I've been through so many drivers. It's crazy. The first contract I wrote, I did something which I regret, which was so bad, because I remember going to the person's house with this contract and the mum of the driver was there and we read the contract out loud. And it was something that I did that I regret. And I put something in the contract and I wrote something like, in the event that you die, this is no fault of LV Elite Cars, which is terrible. And that made one of the drivers just not want to work with us. So I've been through these things. It's not funny. But we had to think about how we cover ourselves, because drivers in Ghana are terrible when it comes to driving. And we just didn't want to be liable, and God forbid, but we all know that one day or another we will go. We just pray that it's not before our time. But I wrote that, and I think that was very bad of me to write that. And however, what we realized is that it's actually, there is, it's covered in the insurance anyway. So, but please, this is not showing that I'm a bad person. I just had to think about how us as a company also protect ourselves as well. So don't judge me for that. But that is something I've been through that shows you kind of need to understand there's things that I've been through. So I have a contract that's robust, that's been tried and tested right now. So visit the person's house, get a guarantor, get a witness to sign, get the ID, a government issued ID, verify that ID. What else do we do? I tend to go to people that have pastors and go to churches so that I know what church that person goes to. And these are the kind of people we work with. But I remember one of our drivers, he lived right by the church that he went to. We signed the contract at his house with his wife. And that driver was one of the worst drivers I've ever worked with. We had everything, I'd done everything. So you can do everything, but you can still go wrong. And I remember this driver, if it wasn't for my tracker in the car, we wouldn't be able to find him. There was a time that he did not pay his weekly sales for like 2 months. And remember, I don't live in Ghana, but I have someone on the ground where those drivers are meant to actually bring the cars for weekly checks as well. But he was a work and pay driver. So I believe that work and pay drivers have an incentive because they need to keep the car clean. They need to make sure that the car is operating. Work and pay drivers are responsible for the repairs of the cars, whereas daily sale drivers are not responsible for the repairs of the cars. So because I knew that, I thought, this guy's a good guy. I know his pastors. In fact, one of my spiritual fathers is one of the head of his church. One of the heads, or was one of the heads of the church that he goes to. So I thought, let me do this. And so it just so happened this guy just didn't pay for a long time. And so we went searching. I found went with police officers to the house searching, but it was through the tracker we managed to track down where the car was, and we seized the car. And I had mercy upon him and allowed him to pay me back what he was missing for over a period of time. And then it happened again, and it happened again, and then it happened again. And so we just ended up seizing the car and claiming it back from him. And this is a work and pay driver, so you are paying with the intention that you're going to own this car at the end of it. But still, so that was one experience we've had. Second experience we had, there was even someone in my church that I gave the car to drive. But again, we had issues there. So I've been through these processes. I know the things to look out for. So when it comes to this business, it's not easy, but it's very interesting in terms of what you will learn. I've learned a tremendous amount, but as I said, we at Elite Cars will cover and run the whole entire process for you, and could do that. Hopefully you too can get paid by Uber and learn how you could just get more invested in terms of what's happening on us. So if you want to find out more, do reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to share some information, but if you want to engage with us to purchase cars for you in Switzerland or Germany and ship them to Ghana and get them cleared, get them, cover the duty, etc., do reach out to me. You can reach out to me personally, or you could reach out via our email address, which is lvelitecars@gmail.com. And yeah, I'll be more than happy to work with you and also get you involved in this as well. So it's a business, it operates. Uber is very, 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 very saturated in Ghana. Bolt is also saturated in Ghana, but it simply means that there is a market. There are people using it. So you will get business. You will get business. Just focus on getting a cheap car you want to buy, I think it's not great to buy the car in Ghana because you don't know what's under the bonnet. And by buying the car abroad, you've got that, and especially in Germany and Switzerland, where they place high value on making sure the car is roadworthy, then at least you know you've got some kind of longevity in the car as well, especially if you want to maybe sell it in the future or use it for yourself. So what I do is some of our drivers end up also being my driver when I need them, but the rest of the time I'm still just using Uber. So that is it. So yeah, so thank you for watching. Do like, subscribe, comment if you enjoyed this video, or give me a thumbs up, please. And hopefully we'll see you in the next video. So bye.